Welcome dear students. Let us continue the textual reading of the chapter The Address, authored by Marga Minko. But before going ahead with the remaining textual part, I would like to recap what we read in the previous class. We know that the story was set in the war zone of Holland country. This is a story about a girl and her mother who had to leave their native place because of the breakout of war in their own country. They had to seek refuge in the nearby place, and in order to keep their belongings safe, their house safe, they handed over everything to a lady named Dorling. Right? Once the war was over and peace prevailed in the native place of the author or the girl, she wanted to see or visit her own place, own house, and wanted to fetch her belongings. At this time, her mother is no more with her, means she is dead, but she is craving to visit her house. When she goes there, the lady with whom they left their belonging refused to recognize her. Rather, she behaved indifferently. It was her intent. She deliberately didn't recognize the girl because she was greedy. She didn't want to return their belongings. After that, the author decided to go back, and she was on her way to railway station. She was recollecting all the memories associated to that place, the surrounding, and whatever her mother shared with her when she was just a child. Yes, she was able to recollect the memories about her introduction to Mrs. Dorling by her mother when she was a child. So she could identify the lady Mrs. Dorling, but Mrs. Dorling in turn didn't pay any heed to what the girl wanted to know from her and what she wanted to take from her. Anyway, she has reached the railway station now, and she is recollecting about Mrs. Dorling, what was told by her mother about her. In the train back, I saw Mrs. Dorling in front of me again as I had the first time I met her. So, when she had reached the railway station, she has boarded the train, and she is now visualizing about Mrs. Dorling when she met first time to her when she was a child. Okay, जब वो छोटी थी उस समय जैसे वो मिली थी, वो सब उसको यादें अभी मिसिस डॉर्लिंग के बारे में वो सब अपने दिमाग में उसके आ रही हैं कि मिसिस डॉर्लिंग कैसी दिखती थी, उसकी मदर ने मीन्स जो गर्ल है, जो ऑथर है, उसकी मदर ने उसको क्या क्या बताया था मिसिस डॉर्लिंग के बारे में. सो मेनी थिंग्स आर कमिंग टू हर माइंड नाउ. It was the morning after the day my mother had told me about her. Okay, so she has gone back to her old memories. She is trying to reminiscent. So one day in the early morning, my mother, that is the girl's mother, told her about Mrs. Dorling. I had got up late, and coming downstairs, I saw my mother about to see someone out, a woman with a broad back. So, during that morning, I saw my mother was looking at someone who was outside, who was standing out of my house, and that lady was having a broad back, means उसकी जो back थी, कमर थी, वो चौड़ी थी. There I is my daughter, said my mother. So my mother said that she beckoned to me. Beckoned means signal or pointing towards. Okay, इशारा करते मेरी मदर ने कहा मिसिस डॉर्लिंग को कि ये मेरी बेटी है. The woman nodded and picked up the suitcase under the coat rack. So she nodded means she accepted. Okay, she is your daughter, and she picked up a suitcase and went on. She wore a brown coat and a shapeless hat. So this was her dress code. Does she live far away? I asked, seeing the difficulties she had going out of the house with the heavy case. So, when I saw her carrying a huge, that a heavy suitcase with lot of difficulty, I happened to ask my mother that was Mrs. Dorling living far away from our house? ओके जैसे वो अपना सूटकेस हैवी सूटकेस लेके जा रही थी तो मैंने अपनी मदर से पूछ लिया कि बहुत दूर रहती है क्या, क्योंकि काफ़ी परेशानी होगी उसको इतना हैवी लगेज ले जाने में. In Marconi Street, said my mother, number 46, remember that. That time my mother told me that Mrs. Dorling lives in Marconi Street and at number 46, and you should remember that address. Okay. I had remembered it, but I had waited a long time to go there. Initially, after the liberation, I was absolutely not interested in all that stored stuff, and naturally, I was also rather afraid of it. So, the author says that she remembered everything, whatever was told by her mother about Mrs. Dorling and about the address she was living at. But she didn't want to carry anything. She didn't, after liberation means when peace prevailed there, when their country was freed from the clutches of the invaders, she didn't want to store anything, or she didn't want to take anything uh, from her old house or whatever was left with Mrs. Dorling. And even she was afraid of going there. Okay, वो वहाँ से कुछ लेना नहीं चाहती थी. Afraid of being confronted with things that had belonged to a connection that no longer existed, which were hidden away in the cupboards and boxes and waiting in vain until they were put back in their places, which had endured all those years because they were things. So, dear students, the author wants to say here that she didn't want to take those things back because they no longer had any association with the author. They no longer existed to be her own because now they have been owned by somebody, that is Mrs. Dorling. And these all things were lying in the cupboards, boxes, and unnecessarily waiting for somebody to come and decorate them, to place them in their respective places, right? Because the actual owner, that is the girl's mother, is dead, and the girl is also afraid of going there and taking all these things because they no more belong to her, which had endured all those years. And these things are lying in the boxes. Why? Because they have existed because of their nature, that is they are things. They are things, that's why they have sustained with the time, and they are existing. Had it been human being or other living creatures, they might have exhausted. But gradually everything became more normal again. Bread was getting to be a lighter color. There was a bed, sleep is unthreatened, a room with a view. So now she is no more afraid of all these things. She wants to go back to her old address, right? And by this time the color of the bread has changed, and where she was living now, there was a bed with a little room, and there she could take rest without any problem, that is without any threat. And from there she could glance at each day, means she could think about her future. And one day she noticed that she was quite curious. She was very having an intriguing nature. She was craving to look at the possessions. She wanted to see the possessions or the belongings that must be lying at that old address. I wanted to see them, touch, remember. And she was quite curious. She was quite desirous to see all those old stuff, old belongings. Okay. सो अभी जहाँ पे रह रही है, छोटा सा रूम है, सब कुछ ठीक है, वहाँ पे एवरीथिंग इज़ फाइन. बट एक दिन इसके दिमाग में आया कि मुझे अपने जाके पुरानी चीज़ों को भी एक बार टच करना चाहिए, देखना चाहिए, छूना चाहिए. आफ्टर माई फर्स्ट विजिट इन वेन टू मिसेस डॉर्लिंग्स हाउस, आई डिसाइड टू ट्राई ए सेकेंड टाइम. सो फर्स्ट टाइम शी denied to recognize her. But now, when she recollected all her memories with those things, with her mother, Mrs. Dorling, she wanted to go back once again. Now a girl about 15 opened the door to me. When second time she visits there, she met a girl who opened the door for her. I asked her if her mother was at home. So I asked that girl that was her mother at home? No, she said, my mother is doing an errand. Means my mother has gone for work. No matter, I said, I'll wait for her. So I also agreed to her, I consented to stay there till the time her mother would come. I followed the girl along the passage, means she went in. As old fashioned iron Hanukkah candle holder hung next to a mirror. So when I was going through the passage, I could see a candle holder, okay, a holder on which a candle is placed, and it was just placed next to a mirror which was hanging on the wall. This candle holder was used during the Hanukkah. Hanukkah is a Hebrew festival which is celebrated in December, and this is a feast of lights. We never used it because it was much more cumbersome than a single candlestick. So we never use. The author says that we never use this candle holder because of its heaviness. It was quite heavy, so we never used it. Won't you sit down? Means the author is now able to see her belongings in that house. Won't you sit down? Asked the girl. She held open the door of the living room and I went inside past her. So she welcomed me and she wanted me to sit there, and I just followed her. I stopped horrified. I was in a room. I stopped horrified, means there she was full of terrific situation. She was frightened to see all those things there. I was in a room I knew and did not know. So she says that I was seeing all these things which were little bit known to me and some were not known to me. कुछ पता भी था और कुछ नहीं पता. Means lot of things have changed there. I found myself in the midst of the things I did want to see again, but which oppressed me in this strange atmosphere. Yes, of course, I wanted to see the things which at times belonged to me, but I was quite suppressed there. I was quite, this atmosphere was fully strange for me. Means everything was not as it used to be when we lived there, or because of the tasteless way everything was arranged, because of the ugly furniture or the muggy smell that hung there. I don't know, but I scarcely dared to look around me. So the author says that I was quite frightened to find myself in a different atmosphere, in a strange atmosphere, that maybe due to the things which were not arranged properly at their respective places. And yes, there was a stinking smell was emanating in that room because of the humid climate. I don't know what was the actual reason behind that, but I scarcely dared to look around me. But I could not dare to look around me and look around the things which were surrounding me. The girl moved a chair, offered me a chair. I sat down and stared at the woolen tablecloth. So from there, I could see that a woolen tablecloth was lying there, and which at times belonged to us. I rubbed it. My fingers grew warm by rubbing, so I just wanted to check it whether it is the same or not. I rubbed that cloth, and yes, I could feel the warmth. I followed the lines of the pattern. Somewhere on the edge there should be a burn mark that had never been repaired. So after that, I wanted to establish some more identity about that cloth. So I wanted to, I followed, means I started checking the design of that cloth, pattern of lines, and I wanted to find that burn mark, okay, which was not repaired. मीन्स वो जला हुआ था और मुझे पता था वो जला हुआ है, वो रिपेयर नहीं किया गया, तो मैं उसको ढूंढने की कोशिश कर रही थी वहाँ पे. माई मदर विल बी बैक सून सेड द गर्ल. मतलब वो लड़की बोलती है कि मेरी मदर जल्दी आने वाली है. आई हैव ऑलरेडी मेड टी फॉर यू, विल यू हैव ए कप. So she, by that time, she had prepared a tea for me and she wanted to offer it to me. Thank you, I said. I looked up. The girl put cups ready on the tea table. She had a broad back. So when she came to offer me a tea, when she bent down to put the cups on the tea table, I could see that her back was also broad, just like her mother. Means the girl's back was also broad, just like her mother, Mrs. Dorling. She poured tea from a white pot. All it had was a gold border on the lid, I remembered. So the teapot which she carried to offer me tea was also ours, and I could remember its design, that it was having a gold color border on the lid. She opened a box and took some spoons out. Yes, at that time she she took out some spoons also from a box. That's a nice box. I heard my own voice. Means मैं खुद से बोल रही थी कि बहुत सुंदर बॉक्स है, एंड ये सब इन्हीं का था. ओके, it was a strange voice, as though each sound was different in this room. So my own voice, which was emerging from my conscience, was was seeming different to me because of that strange atmosphere in that room. Oh, you know about them. She had turned round and brought me my tea. So that girl asked me surprisingly that if I knew all those objects, those things which were lying there in that room. She laughed. My mother says it is antique, and she smilingly told me that these are the antique things, these are the old things which are unique, and they were told by her mother. We have got lots more. वो बोलते हैं हमारे पास और भी बहुत सारे ऐसे हैं. She pointed around the room. See for yourself. And she said that there are so many things like this: pot, teacups, and you can see them around you. They are in this room. Okay, सभी चीज़ें यहीं पे हैं, आप खुद से देख सकते हैं. You can see yourself means you can आप खुद देख सकते हैं इनको. I had no need to follow her hand. मीन्स मुझे उसके जो वो इशारे कर रही थी सब चीज़ों तरफ, उनकी तरफ मुझे ध्यान देने की जरूरत नहीं थी, क्योंकि मैं तो जानती थी ये सब हमारे ही हैं. I knew which things she meant. Okay, I just looked at the still life or the tea table. As a child, I had always fancied the apple on the pewter plate. Pewter plate means a metal plate. So I could see what she wanted to tell me, what she wanted to show me. As a child, when I was a child, I used to enjoy that table with a plate full of apple. Okay, so I like that table to be used for eating apple in a metal plate. We use it for everything, she said. And that girl told me that they use that table for everything. Means tea, dinner, lunch, everything, whatever they want, they place all the things on that table. Once we even ate off the plates hanging there on the wall. I wanted to so much, but it wasn't anything special. So she told that they have used those plates also which are hanging on the wall, and I even wanted to use those plates, but it was nothing special. Means we have already tasted them. I had found we have already used those plates. Okay, so that's what I mean to say, that I tasted it. I had found the burn mark on the tablecloth. By this time I could see that burn mark was there on the tablecloth. So it was certain that this cloth belonged to us. The girl looked questioningly at me, and when I searched that burn cloth, my face looked turned different, and that girl also appeared as if she wanted to question me about something. Yes, I said, you get so used to touching all these lovely things in the house, you hardly look at them anymore. So I told her that because you are the daily user of these things, that's why you need not look at them so cautiously and so intently, right? Because you hardly pay any attention to these things, as you are the daily user of these things. You only notice when something is missing. So I told that girl that they look at those things only when something out of them is missing. Okay, which is not found, and because it has to be repaired. or if something is to be repaired, then only they try to find out these things which are lying in their home, because you have lent it, for example. And for example, if you have given those items temporarily to somebody and you want them back, that time also you may notice their scarcity, their deficiency in your house, then only you pay attention to their existence, otherwise not. Again I heard the unnatural sound of my voice and I went on. I remember my mother once asked me if I would help her polish the silver. So the other memories associated to my childhood and my belongings were coming to my mind, and out of those I could remember that once my mother asked me to help her in polishing the silver utensils. It was a very long time ago and I was probably bored that day, or perhaps I had to stay at home because I was ill, as she had never asked me before. And that was the first day my mother asked me to help her in polishing those silver utensils. Otherwise she never asked me for this kind of help. That day probably I was at home with her because of my illness. I asked her which silver she meant, and she replied, surprised, that it was the spoons, forks, and knives, of course. So the girl says that when I asked my mother which kind of silver she wants to get painted by me, then she told me that she was talking about the forks, knives, and spoons which are kept on the dining table. I was surprised to see that those items were made of silver. And that was the strange thing. I didn't know the cutlery we ate of every day was silver. So मुझे इससे पहले पता ही नहीं था कि जिस कटलरी से जिससे हम खाना खाते हैं वो सभी भी सिल्वर के बने हुए हैं. The girl laughed again. I bet you don't know it is either. I looked intently at her. So that girl laughed it again at that point. And मैंने उससे कहा कि मुझे पता है आपको इनके बारे में पता ही नहीं कि ये सिल्वर के बने हुए हैं. ओके. And I looked intently at him means deliberately I looked at her to get response from her. What we eat with, she asked. उसने कहा जिसके साथ हम खाना खाते हैं उनकी बात कर रहे हैं आप. Well, do you know? Yes. क्या आप जानते हैं इनके बारे में कि किसके बने हुए हैं? She hesitated means she was not sure about the metal the items the cutlery was made of. She walked to the sideboard and wanted to open a drawer. I said, look, it is here. So that girl, after knowing that they are made of silver, she went to the sideboard and she wanted to open a drawer in which this cutlery was lying. So she told me that these things are lying in this drawer. I jumped up. So I was quite curious to see those items. ओके मैं तो जानबूझ से उससे पता करना चाहती थी कि वो आइटम कहाँ पे छुपे हुए हैं. सो बड़े इनोसेंटली उसने वो ड्रायर खोल के मुझे बताया कि यहाँ पे रखे हुए हैं. आई वॉज फॉरगेटिंग द टाइम. आई मस्ट कैच माई ट्रेन. बट उस समय मैं टाइम के बारे में बिल्कुल भूल चुकी थी उससे बातें करते करते, और मुझे अपनी ट्रेन भी पकड़नी थी. शी हैड हर हैंड ऑन द ड्रायर. और उसी समय द गर्ल वॉज बिजी इन ओपनिंग द ड्रायर. शी वॉन्टेड टू शो मी द कटलरी देयर. डोंट यू वॉन्ट टू वेट फॉर माई मदर? एंड शी आस्क्ड मी इफ आई डिडंट वॉन्ट टू सी हर मदर. नो आई मस्ट गो. मैंने कहा नहीं मुझे जाना ही होगा. आई वॉक टू द डोर. द गर्ल पुल्ड द ड्रायर ओपन. आई कैन फाइंड माई own way. So the girl opened the door and she pulled the door. and उसने कहा कि मैं खुद ही ढूंढ लूँगी, मैं खुद ही पता कर लूँगी कौन सी चीज़ें किसकी बनी हुई, कटलरी किसकी, सिल्वर की या कुछ और है. As I walked down the passage I heard the jingling of spoons and forks. So मैं तो उससे घर से निकल चुकी थी और मैं पीछे से आवाज़ सुनाई दे रही थी कि दैट जिंगलिंग साउंड. ओके, जो बर्तन जो यूटेंसिल्स आपस में टकराते हैं तो उनकी जिंगलिंग साउंड वहाँ पे आ रही थी. आई कुड हियर दैट. At the corner of the road, I looked up at the nameplate. So while leaving that place, I looked up at the nameplate which was hanging on the corner of that block. Marconi Street, it said, और उस पर लिखा था Marconi Street. I had been at number 46 and the house number was 46. The address was correct. So by this time it was certain that I I visited the correct address which belonged to Mrs. Dorling, और उसके पास ही हमारे सारी आइटम्स रखे हुए थे. But now I didn't want to remember it anymore. Okay, now the author has that girl has resolved not to, and she is determined not to remember those things, remember that address also. I wouldn't go back there because the objects that are linked in your memory with the familiar life of former times instantly lose their value when severed from them. You see them again in strange surroundings. So the author wants to say that when something is no more belonging to you, no matter at times it has been a part of your life, but when it is no more associated with you, you should forget about them. Unnecessarily, we should not spoil our mood remembering those items which we are never going to retain, which we are never going to retrieve. So it is better to forget about them. ऐसी कोई चीज़ जो किसी टाइम हमारी थी लेकिन अब हमारे से दूर हो चुकी है और अब हमें नहीं मिलने वाली, उसके बारे में हमें भूल जाना चाहिए, उसको याद करके परेशान नहीं होना चाहिए. यही ऑथर यहाँ पे कहना चाहते हैं. And what should I have done with them? In a small rented room where the shreds of blackout paper still hung along the windows and no more than a handful of cutlery fitted in the narrow table drawer. So here she has given the description of the room where she is living now. She says उनको करना भी क्या है उन आइटम्स का. एक छोटा सा रूम है मेरा जिसमें कि जो कि रेंटेड रूम है और उसमें ब्लैक पेपर के टुकड़े चिपकाए हुए हैं. श्रेड्स मीन्स स्मॉल पीसीज ऑफ पेपर विच आर हंग ऑन द अलोंग दी विंडोज़. विंडोज़ के ऊपर वो लटक रहे हैं, मीन्स चिपके हुए हैं. और वहाँ पे एक हैंडफुल कटलरी मीन्स थोड़ी सी कटलरी की सिवा उसमें ज़्यादा जगह भी नहीं है टेबल ड्रॉयर में. सो मैं उनको करूँगी भी क्या ले जाके सबको. ओके, आई रिजोल्व टू फॉरगेट द एड्रेस. नाउ शी डिटरमिन्ड नॉट टू remember that address anymore. She wanted to forget it as early as possible. Of all the things I had to forget, that would be the easiest. And she wanted to move in her life by taking herself in the easy side of life, and that could be achieved only if she could forget about the address and forget everything which belonged to her life when she was a child. So the author has resolved not to remember anything about the address, that is Marconi Street number 46, and the items which they left with Mrs. Dorling before leaving for a shelter in the nearby state or country. Okay, so this chapter is over, dear students, and these are the questions based on this chapter. That is, have you come back? Said the woman. I thought that no one had come back. Does this statement give some clue about the story? If yes, what it is? Okay, you must try to find out its answer. This is the statement made by Mrs. Dorling to the author when she arrived there first time. Why did she ask? Because she thought that they would never return. They would never return to their native place. Okay, and this shows the wrong intention of Mrs. Dorling, that she took everything from them with the wrong intent. Otherwise, she would have welcomed that girl when she came there. She would have recognized her nicely and she would have treated her as a guest, but she showed her indifferent behavior. In spite of welcoming her, she even didn't allow her to enter her house. Forget about returning the objects that belong to the girl. This story is divided into pre-war and post-war war times. What hardships do you think the girl underwent during these times? Dear students, as you know that whenever any war breaks out between two countries, it leaves a massive devastation and causes a huge loss to humanity. Okay, our own near and dear ones are departed from us, and it happens that some of them never meet us again in our life. A huge loss is incurred in terms of wealth, property, and mankind, that can never be, that laws can never be fulfilled, okay, that can never be recovered. So this is very important question. Pre-war and post-war times, what happens? What did the narrator of the story want to, why did the narrator of the story want to forget the address? As you know, the narrator of the story wants to forget the address because the things which at times belong to her are no more legally held with us, and they are not going to be retrieved by us, by her, because the person they left those items with is not ready to hand them over to her. So she didn't want to pain her, she didn't want spoil her mood just by thinking about those old items, by remembering those old items, okay. So she thought it better to forget about the address and move on in the life. The address is a story of human predicament that follows war. Comment: yes, human predicament, human problems, complications, difficulties are followed when are followed that is are preceded by war, okay. Whenever any war breaks out, thereafter the actual problems of human beings takes place. They have to leave their own native place, they have to leave their property behind, they have to take a temporary shelter somewhere, they have to live a life like refugees, and they have to live a life without basic amenities. Everything is deserted, okay, everything is deserted. So this is true that war follows human predicament. No country and no one should ever try to get into a war. As a human being, we must keep ourselves away from anything which can cause a war between the two communities, two person, two countries, okay. So thank you, god bless you all.